My name is Dan Cziczo, and I'm a professor and the department head of Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Sciences at Purdue University. Air quality can be worse at times than it has been in the past. Another example of those fires that have been consequential in the last couple of years. One reason for this is that as our climate warms due to human impacts on the environment, that leads to some places becoming drier, becoming more susceptible for what we call biomass burning, these wildfires that we've been hearing about. So now with the climate being roughly a degree centigrade, a little bit more than a degree Fahrenheit warmer, what this is leading to is certain areas becoming drier, more prone to fires, larger fires. We have about twice as much surface area every year being burned in these wildfires, and that releases a lot of particles and gases that we worry about for air quality and human health. So in some areas, those that are downwind of these fires or in the fire region itself, air quality is definitely worse. At the same time, in some locations, air quality has actually gotten better. So things like the Clean Air Act in the United States have actually cleaned up a lot of emissions. We're much better at putting things like catalytic converters on our cars, which drop some of those precursor gases that lead to the things that we worry about for air quality. So it's not one size fits all. There's a couple of different answers here. Some locations are getting worse, while some locations are actually getting somewhat better. Climate change can impact air quality, and one specific area that we often think about is that as the conditions around us warm, they can also lead to drier conditions in some locations. As those locations dry out, they can become more susceptible to fires, and that will lead to things like increased biomass burning, increased wildfires that produce particles and gases that affect our health and our air quality. The other thing that climate change can do is by warming, it can lead to more chemical reactions that lead to some of the gases that we worry about for air quality and human health. So the combination of those two things, drier conditions in some place leading to fires, as well as increases in some of the chemical reactions that we worry about, can adversely impact our air quality. Air quality can have a large effect on human health, and we can think of this as the two biggest components of poor air quality. One is certain gas phase components, things like ozone, which might trigger a response in humans. They also have an adverse impact on the environment around us. They can also trigger a response in things like plants. So a plant that would be exposed to too much ozone would not grow well. And in extreme cases, it could actually kill off plants around us. So this is very important as we understand things like farming, understand crop yields, that type of thing, especially in areas that have relatively poor air quality. The other aspect of air quality is particulate matter, and this is particularly important for people that have health problems, so cardiopulmonary diseases, younger children, older adults that might have underlying health conditions. So by breathing in a lot of particles, especially small particles that can be inhaled deep into the lungs, you can then trigger a response and actually cause those underlying conditions to become worse. So this is one of the reasons that we have air quality alerts, is so that those people know that they should take extra precautions, not be outside for long periods of time, maybe use an air filtering system, certainly not do strenuous activity on days where there is very poor air quality. Part of air quality in human health is the inhalation of particles, especially particles that are very small in size, what we would call sub-micron in size. So we use a unit of measurement, micrometers, and so for perspective, a human hair is about 50 microns or 50 micrometers in diameter. So these are very, very fine particles. As they become smaller, they can be inhaled, drawn into the lungs, especially very deeply in the lungs, and then find a place there, and that's the impact they can have on human health. Masks can help in this way, so long as they're effective for the particle sizes, these submicron particles that we're trying to filter out. So something like a cloth over the face certainly can help, but it's not going to be a perfect barrier to those particles. You have to use high quality masks, especially these N95s, and even more high quality masks than that to stop some of these very small particles than entering our body.